in our webinar app, we should be officially live. Welcome back, everyone, to our day 6 workshop. We're on the second last day. I'm Jessica Tor, and we've got...
Hey guys, I'm Cameron.
And I'm really looking forward to today's workshop because this is probably one of the most requested topics that you guys have been sending in. It's how do we talk, or how do we use funnels in our business? How do we get people to find our course? How do we get the right customers? And we have the expert when it comes to this topic, Ryan Dice from digitalmarketer.com. Ryan, so great to have you here.
So great to be here, talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is selling more courses. This is how I got my start, was by selling knowledge online, and I love what you guys have done in terms of providing a platform. I know when I first got started selling my first courses, there was nothing like Teachable out there. So excited to be supporting the cause and the community.
Brilliant. We're going to hand it over to you. And also, guys, let us know in the chat too, once you can see his slides, if everything looks good on your end.
Yes, I'm clicking the play button. So I'm live. So let me know if you can or cannot see my slides.
I think
you have to, in the Hangout, you just have to click the green share screen icon over on the left.
There we go.
Yep, just select the whole screen and you should be good to go.
All right, perfect.
Perfect.
There we go.
Yay, I literally had one job and I forgot to do that one job, so I'm sorry about that.
So you guys know we're live.
Yeah, so let's jump in and talk about how to create a funnel that, I talk about it transforming strangers into friends and friends into customers, customers into raving fans. We're really just talking about selling a whole lot more of your stuff, right? That's the goal. I want to get you a lot more sales, but I want to get you a lot more sales from people who don't yet know that you exist. And I think that's really, really important. And kind of to anchor, I'll give you an analogy and tell you a little story in just a second to anchor that point. But my goal, just so you know where I'm hoping that we'll end up, is that by the time we're finished, you'll have a proven and scalable plan for transforming strangers into rabid buyers and raving superfans. All right. Now, as long as I want you to have a great product, and great products in and of themselves can create fans. But one of the things we're going to talk about when we get towards the end, it's kind of a little bit of a bonus. We're primarily going to focus on selling more of your stuff, but I don't want to assume that just because the sale is made, that the job of sales and marketing is over. You're going to hear me use a lot of analogies for relationships, using relationships rather as an analogy for sales. It's because I believe that at the end of the day, sales and marketing is just another type of relationship. But something you're going to hear me say again, I'm going to say it right now because I think it's so important. The sales and marketing shouldn't stop when the sale is made, right? Marketing shouldn't stop when the sale is made, just like dating shouldn't stop when you get married. All right. So do keep that in mind. Yes, you must have an amazing product. I'm going to assume that what you're putting out there for sale, that people are going to be buying, is great. If they go through it, they're going to get tremendous value. But we don't want to just stop there. We want to actually build the creation of raving superfans into our marketing process. So we are going to talk about that. But mostly I want to talk to you about how to get buyers from scratch, right? How to start from, how to complete and total strangers become buyers, and how can you do this both profitably and predictably. I think that's really, really important, this idea of generating customers profitably. Anybody can go out there and raise $100 billion and generate customers at loss and hope that it works out. Well, assuming you can raise $100 billion. I know I didn't have that option, right? Everything that I've done, every business that I've built, and I've been doing this for a long time, I'll talk about that a little bit. It's been bootstrapped, right? We haven't raised any money. We've sold products and services online for longer than I really care to admit, nearly 2 decades now. But we do it, and even to this day, we do it both profitably and predictably. Okay, profitably and predictably, and that really is the goal. When we think about predictable marketing, and building something that kind of can build beyond just a single product, or maybe just a single product launch. I want to tell you a story about this lady here.
Hey, Ryan, just one step before you get to the story.
Yes.
Just an important thing for everyone watching in the audience. If you're seeing anything be blurry or hard to read or out of focus in the presentation, there's a very easy fix. Just mouse over the video, click that gear icon in the bottom right-hand corner, and then change the resolution to 720p HD. Again, if you're seeing anything be blurry or out of focus, mouse over the video, click that gear icon in the bottom right, and change the resolution to 720p, and everything should be crystal clear. All right, back to you, man.
Perfect, thanks. All right, so this is Coco Chanel, and anybody who is a historian of fashion, or maybe if you're just a man or woman who really just likes buying incredibly expensive things, the name Coco Chanel, or at least the Chanel brand, should ring true to you. I know it does for me. I know. I still remember the first time I walked into a Chanel store and my wife held up this like tiny little purse, and I found out that it cost about as much as my first car. Right? I was like, what is going on here? But what a lot of people don't realize is that the way that Chanel got started, Chanel the brand, Chanel the company, is Coco Chanel actually invented what we now know today is the little black dress. Right? In 1926. She sought to design the little black dress, a dress that would be universally flattering, right? So, and that really, it took the Chanel like brand and Chanel as a company from really a small boutique designer into this nationally known, worldwide brand. All right, so on one hand, I want you to think about Chanel, right? On the other hand, I want you to think about the piano key tie, okay? So you've got Chanel, and then you have the piano key tie. Now, I don't know who invented the piano key tie. I know I'm a big fan of the movie Zoolander, and there's certain origin theories that are proposed in that particular movie that I don't think are necessarily true, but the inventor of the piano key tie is largely unknown to us today. Now, why is that, right? We know Chanel who invented the little black dress, but we don't necessarily know the person who invented the piano key tie. And I think the reason is because Coco Chanel chose not to define her brand by the one product that she sold. Okay, I think that's really, really, I want to kind of just pause there and linger there for a moment. She did not define her brand by the product that she sold. Now, it would have been very easy at that point in 1926 to say, I've got a hit product, I got a runaway product, everybody loves my little black dress. That's it. We at Chanel, what we do is we make little black dresses, kind of like whoever invented the piano key tie did, right? They said, I invented this absurd, ridiculous tie that really would have only worked in the 1980s. And here it is. That's it. I'm going to just make piano key ties. Now, the person who invented the piano key tie never moved beyond that one product. They never crafted a funnel, right? They never crafted a sales funnel. They never crafted a product funnel. They never sought to build a brand. They just built their business around a product. So the first kind of big takeaway, the first big lesson that I hope you learned from our time together is that a product does not a business make, okay? A product does not a business make. I don't want you to define your business by the product you sell. I want you to define your business by the people you serve. Okay, define your business by the people that you serve. That's what Coco Chanel did. That's why Chanel, almost 100 years later, is still an amazing brand, is still something that women, a brand that women yearn for, because she said, I'm not going to define myself by this product. I'm going to define myself by the woman that I serve. As she changes, I will change. And that's critical. All right. It's going to become really, really critical in a moment when we talk about building a sales funnel, because if you only have a single product, it's going to be difficult to do that. All right. So I want you to think beyond the product. And right now, begin adopting more of a customer-centric mindset with regard to your customer, so that you can say, okay, yeah, I got this one product. Now, what else do they want? It's also important because when we think about the piano key tie, I think about that as almost being like a launch. There's a lot of people who go out there and they will execute on a product launch. I don't have anything against product launches. Product launches are great. They're used and have been used forever. They get used in media and entertainment. They get used. I mean, Apple is famous for their product launches, right? So there's nothing wrong with a launch. But just like you don't want to define your company by one single product, you don't want to define your marketing plan by one single marketing tactic that is designed to, work once, and then you really don't get to do it again for maybe 6 or 12 months later. Okay, so the piano key tie is kind of like a launch. And again, I think of Chanel as a full comprehensive business. So we're going to talk a lot about acquiring customers from scratch, but my hope is that by the end of it, you realize this is about something bigger. This is about, crafting, architecting an entire company. Because I hope that's what you want to build. I hope that you're not just out there just trying to sell a one-off product, kind of on the side. I hope that you really want to build a business that can serve, lots of people, maybe even lots of people long after you're gone, right? I know that's my goal. Hopefully that's yours as well. Now, a little bit about me. My name is Ryan Deiss. I am the CEO of digitalmarketer.com. And this is a picture of me before I founded my company. In fact, this is a picture of me literally just weeks before I founded my company. Now, I show you this picture for a couple reasons. Number one, I'm really proud of this picture because this is the coolest that I've ever been in my entire life. This photograph right here documents the pinnacle, really the peak of my social coolness. It was my freshman year of college. I was going to a party. It was a futuristic themed party. I didn't have a costume, so I went down to the local thrift shop. I saw on the rack this amazing full body blue spandex. I duct taped an M to my chest and I went as Millennium Man. This was the year 1999, right before airplanes were supposed to start falling out of the sky because of the whole Y2K bug. So here we are, 1999. I'm at this party as Millennium Man, and everybody wanted to take a picture with Millennium Man. So this is a picture of me surrounded by women at a party, and everybody just, again, the peak of the pinnacle of my coolness. So that's the first reason that I show you this picture. The second reason that I show you this picture is it doesn't just document, like I said, the pinnacle of my coolness. It also documents the single most important moment, right before one of the most important moments of my life. Because you see, right after this picture was taken, right after this picture was taken, I turned to my left, and you could see the girl that's with her hands on my left shoulder. I turned to my left, and I said, "Hi, my name is Ryan," and she said, "Hi, my name is Emily." And this photograph actually documents the moment right before I met my now wife. All right, documents the moment right before I met my now wife. Now, I tell you that story for a couple of reasons, none of which has anything to do with trying to get "oh, that's so sweet," or trying to build up any sympathy points. I tell you this because this moment was the reason that I started my first business, right? We met here, we started dating, and pretty early on in our relationship, literally within a matter of weeks, I knew, I just had this feeling. I said, this is the woman that I'm going to marry, okay? This is the woman that I'm going to marry. Now, I didn't set out to get married early in life, and let me make this clear. I didn't tell her that, all right? Because that would have been freaking creepy. That'd have been super weird if here we are, we're freshmen in college, we've been dating for a couple of weeks, and I say, "Hey, you're the woman that I'm probably going to marry." That would have been freaking weird. I hope we all agree that that's weird, because we're going to talk about in just a second how very often that's exactly what we're doing to our customers. Okay, so I didn't tell her that, because that would have been weird. That would have been out of sequence. But internally, I knew it. I knew it. I felt it. And I knew that if it was going to happen, I needed to have a ring. And rings were expensive. And I was a college kid, and I was broke. I had a part-time job that was just helping me, helping to buy food and pay for rent and things like that. So I figured if I'm going to make extra money, I'm going to have to do it myself. I'm going to have to start my own business. And so what did I do? I did the same thing that those of you watching this at home right now or in your office are doing. I began selling courses online. My very first course that I ever sold was a little ebook on how to make your own baby food. Of all things, I sold courses on how to roll your own sushi. I mean, all these kind of weird, funny little courses. Now, this was before you had platforms like Teachable to facilitate it. I mean, I was just doing the best that I could using like Microsoft Front Page, if you can believe that, but it worked. All right. By the time I graduated from college, I had nearly 500 little websites selling, little products, and I was making good money. And here we sit today, a company with literally thousands of websites, dozens of businesses in our holding company selling everything from makeup brushes and knives all the way up to industrial water filters. So we do a lot of things and have done a lot of things. And what I now get to do at Digital Marketer is I get to take all the stuff that we figure out running all of these different businesses, and we get to report on at Digital Marketer. So Digital Marketer is really kind of the systemizing and the reporting arm of all of my other businesses where we do this stuff, right? Whether we're selling digital products and online courses, or whether we're selling physical products and e-commerce, we package up all the information and sell it through digitalmarketer.com. But where everything started was right here in this moment, right here in this moment, right when this picture was taken. That was the genesis of when I wanted to start this business, was so that I could get a ring, for that girl. Make a long story short, by our junior year, I made enough money, proposed to her the weekend after we graduated, we got married. Here we are, almost 15 years of wedded bliss, 4 kids later. I think it's safe to say that it works. So that's why I show you that picture. I show you that picture because it kind of marks that initial origin point in my story. It also, though, taught me a very valuable lesson and kind of sent me down a research path that I want to share with you today. And that's this idea of how do strangers become friends, and in the case of romantic relationships, lovers, and and even beyond. Like, how does that happen? Because I look at this picture right here, and what I think to myself is, the moment this picture was taken, I did not know who this girl was to my left. I had no idea who she was, and she didn't really know who I was. Just everybody was gathering around this, little dork wearing a full body blue spandex and taking a picture. We were total strangers. We were total strangers. We had no idea who the other person was. And yet now here we are 15 years later, sharing our most intimate moments together, literally the mother of my children. How does that happen? How do strangers, right, become friends and ultimately sharing their most intimate details together, right? That's kind of a fascinating mystery if you think about it. I think it's particularly fascinating. It should be particularly interesting to us as marketers, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, because that's the question that we have to answer. How do we go about transforming strangers into friends, into customers? How does that process happen? And so when I kind of came to this realization, I thought about this picture, I began studying that, and I ran across this gentleman right here. His name is Desmond Morris. And Desmond Morris is a zoologist that sought to answer that same question. He asked that same question: how does human intimacy happen, right? How do human beings go from being total strangers to ultimately being lovers, right? How does that happen? Now, he was approaching it from kind of an evolutionary biology perspective. I was approaching it from a greedy capitalist pig perspective of how can I get more buyers? But I think you'll agree when you see that it's kind of equally helpful. So what he found, I'll kind of go through his research real quick so you don't have to read the book, although the book is Intimate Behavior if you want to read it. But what he discovered is that ultimately there are 12 stages of human intimacy. Okay, these are the 12 stages that humans go through when they're making that transformation from stranger to friend to lover. The first stage is eye to body. Eye to body. That makes sense, right? You see someone, maybe you see him from across the room. You notice them, you're attracted to them. Then we get eye to eye, we make eye contact. Then what happens? Voice to voice, we talk, we begin to engage one another in conversation. Then we get into hand to hand, right? You shake hands. Then we get into arm to shoulder, right? So maybe you shake hands, maybe you pat them on the shoulder. Then we get to arm to waist, in other words, a hug, right? Now, just mention in chat, where are my huggers? If you're a hugger, maybe say like, yep, I'm a hugger. I don't know, we got any huggers out there? Is anybody mentioning in chat that they're a hugger?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we got some huggers here.
Okay, so here's what you need to know if you're a hugger. The reason that you creep everybody out, okay, and I mean this with all love and affection, it's because you're kind of skipping from like step 3 to step 6, right? Or maybe like you go in for the handshake and then you bring them in and you hug them, right? Part of the reason that people are like, oh, if they're not a hugger is because you're skipping some stages. Now, you're getting away with it because you're not skipping too many. A point that we'll come back to in just a second. But just know, if you meet somebody for the first time and you go in for the hug, you're skipping some steps. You're jumping to step 6. Step 7, mouth to mouth. Obviously a kiss, right? Step 8, hand to head. This is kind of weird, right? And it also explains why that aunt that used to walk up to you when you were a kid and like pinch your cheeks, why it really freaked you out. Creepy aunt was skipping like from, stage 3 to stage 8, right? So hand to head. But if you think about it, think how weird that would be if somebody walked up to you for the first time and they touched your head and they touched your face, right? You'd probably be like, whoa, we're going to go at this. Stage 9, hand to body. Now we're beginning to get a little handsy. Mouth to body, I think you get the idea. Hand to you know what, getting a little R-rated, and then finally stage 12. I believe the scientific term is bow chicka wow wow. You get the idea, right? Stage 12. We've progressed all the way through the 12 stages of human intimacy. Now, here's why this matters. Right? You may be thinking, what are you talking about, Ryan? This has nothing to do with anything. This has everything to do, all right, with generating customers from scratch, right? Here's why this is so critical. And here's why Desmond Morris's study and his findings were so important to us. It wasn't so much the discovery of these 12 stages, although it's pretty fascinating. And what they also found is that even in instances where somebody is hiring a prostitute, they still go through these 12 stages, right? It's like, see him, okay, cool, yeah, hi, nice to meet you. They'll like shake hands, they'll kind of hug, right? It's very strange the way that humans work, right? So the existence of these 12 stages, they just are. Like, it's something that just happens. But what I thought was most interesting about Desmond Morris' study, and where I think it's most valuable to us, wasn't the existence of the 12 stages. When you see them, they kind of make sense. The most interesting and most fascinating thing to me was his discovery that the rate through which two people progressed through all 12 stages was not in and of itself a determinant of a successful relationship. All right, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you could have a couple, and in a single evening, in a matter of hours, right, they could progress from stage 1 to stage 12, right? Could be a one-night stand, right? Could be a Tinder hookup. I don't know. I don't know what you crazy kids are doing these days. I married the first girl who would talk to me. But they could go all the way through, and at the end of it go, hey, you know what? That was good. That was A-okay. That was fine with me. The speed of progression through the 12 stages is not in and of itself determinant of success. Here's what is. Did you skip a step? Specifically, did you skip more than 2? You see, what they found is if you skip more than 2 steps, that's when the other person literally feels assaulted. It's when they literally feel assaulted. So if you were to go up to somebody that you don't know and give them a hug, right, that may not be a big deal, but if they didn't even see you coming, you just jumped from stage 1 to stage 6. And that can feel like sexual assault. Now, I don't want to, that we can go down a really dark path there. I don't necessarily, want to do that, but I do want you to think, right, as it relates to these stages, are you assaulting your customers? And could that explain maybe part of the reason why you're not making as many sales as you should, even though your product or service is amazing, right? So the 12 stages, the big lesson here is that, yep, the 12 stages exist, but the bigger lesson of all is you can't skip too many. If you skip too many, it's assault. So what I did with this research is I said, okay, this is how intimacy happens in humans. How can we now apply this over into the business world? Because I firmly believe, I don't care if you're B2B, B2C, I don't care what you're selling. It's always a human selling to another human, H to H. So any marketing, any sales process, it is a human relationship. It is an act of human intimacy. But for me, the way I looked at it, I'm not trying to get people naked. So I took Desmond Morris's 12 stages and I turned it into 8 stages. And the way those work, again, I want you to imagine this is your customer in their before state. This is them in their after state. And that's all you're doing. I don't care what you're selling, whatever your product or service is, it is a vehicle that transports people from a less desirable before state to a more desirable after state. That's all any product or service ever is. It is a vehicle that transports people from a less desirable before state to a more desirable after state. But now, how does this happen? Again, Desmond Morris had 12, I have 8. And those are, number 1, awareness. We think about now eye to body, becoming aware. Now we get into engagement, right? Eye to eye, we're making eye contact. We're having that voice to voice. We're having a conversation. Subscribe, right? Hey, can I get your number? We should go hang out sometime. Convert. Somebody, that's when the relationship shifts and maybe you meet up for coffee. You have that first date, right? There's a change in the relationship. We'll talk about that. Excite. They're actually excited that they went on that date with you. Ascend. They want to go on to more dates. You're meeting the parents. You're eventually, getting married, moving in together, all those same types of things. Now, advocacy. They're becoming an advocate. They're telling other people about you. They're leaving testimonials, and then they become an outright promoter. All right. So like I said, Desmond Morris had 12. These are the 8 stages, the 8 stages of what we call the value journey. And just like you can map all the just like you can map stages in a relationship, you can map it in a value journey. So the way you think about this, awareness, again, awareness for me was full body blue spandex. That was how I made these girls, and one girl in particular, aware that I existed. Engage, right? Now we're getting into how you doing, right? What's your pickup line? What are you going to say? What kind of funny stories are you going to tell? The subscribe, right? We've got Sexy Spider-Man here. Hey girl, can I get your number, right? We kind of all understand that. The convert stage, now this is what we don't want to do. This is what so often too many marketers are doing. Hi, nice to meet you. For our first date, I was thinking we could figure out the names for our children, right? This is what we don't want to do. All right, we don't want to do that. Good chance, however, you are doing that. Instead, what we want to do is be more Ryan Gosling, smooth-like. Excite. If they're not excited, they're not going to want to go out on a second date. And then when we get to ascend, right, we're talking about meeting the parents. We're talking about down on one knee proposing. Advocacy. They're now beginning to say very nice things about you. My wife has never referred to me as her delicious, sexy chocolate man or Mr. Monkey, but I wish that she would. Honey, if you're watching, just FYI. My wife is also very quick to point out that eventually this analogy does break down unless you're an active polygamist, but I think you get the basic idea. So like I said before, and what I'm going to invite you to do, right, is we can take this framework. We can take this 8-stage value journey framework, and we can actually plot the process of any relationship of going from a stranger into a friend, into a buyer, into a raving fan. And you can do this for human relationships, right? Here is the value journey, right? The way that I, moved my now wife from this less desirable before state where tragically to her, she had no idea that I existed, into this more desirable after state where, we're happily married with 4 kids, right? So you can map a journey of human relationships, or you can map the process of transforming strangers into friends, into buyers, into raving fans. And usually it looks something like this. A prospect is going to see an ad. They're going to find you in search. They're going to hear about you through a referral. Then they're going to read a blog post. They're going to engage with you in social media. They're going to watch a video. They're going to maybe opt in to receive some gated content, a lead magnet, purchase, sign up for a demo. Maybe they're going to not just register for a webinar, which would be the subscribe stage. Maybe they're going to actually attend a webinar. So now they're giving up some of their time. Now they're a convert. You're going on a date, right? They're going to get value from that initial transaction, whether it was a small purchase or what you did on the webinar. Then you can make them your core offer. Then you can make them an additional offer, an additional one. And as long as you're adding value, right? Dating doesn't stop just because you got married. Hopefully they give you a testimonial, say nice things about you even when you're not around. And then maybe some of them become active promoters. They become affiliates, referral partners, value-added resellers, those kind of things. So we can take this same process and we can map this journey. And what I want us to do during our time together is I want you to map this journey for your business. I want you to look at it and be honest and say, I've got a hole here. There's a hole in the value journey here, because that's where you need to focus. That's a point of optimization. That's an area where your machine is maybe broken down or you're missing some parts. That's okay. You know that you can tweak that. You can optimize that. You can repair that, and it'll increase your throughput. All right, so let's build. What I want you to do, if you want to build as we're going along, digitalmarketer.com/journey, digitalmarketer.com/journey, you'll go to a page, actually a blog post. And on that page, if you scroll down just a little bit, you can download a PDF version of this flowchart, a PDF version of the value journey. And depending on your PDF viewer, you should be able to open up and actually type in the particular boxes. Okay, be able to type into these actual boxes. Now, I'm going to be moving pretty quickly here through these, but there are 8 questions that I'm going to ask along the way. You may not be able to answer all 8 questions right away, but if nothing else, that'll kind of be your homework, right? You'll have some things to think about as you move on. For now, though, digitalmarketer.com/journey. Scroll down, download the PDF. There's nothing to opt in for, anything like that. All right, let's get started. The first step is we need to begin at what most people think of as the end. And you'll see I have the end in quotes. I'm even throwing up the air quotes right now, the end. And that's because it's not really the end. It's actually the middle, right? It's the middle of the journey, but it's where most people think is the end, right? Most people believe that the purpose in business is just to sell somebody something. That ain't it, okay? Hopefully the purpose of your business is to use your product, your service as a vehicle to shift people from less desirable before states to more desirable after states. You don't just want to create customers, you want to create raving fans. But nevertheless, we want to begin with what most people perceive as the end, with the ascend stage, right? So this is where we want to end up. We want to end up down on one knee saying, will you marry me? And knowing beyond the shadow of a doubt, the answer is going to be yes, right? We want to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that the answer is going to be yes. And kind of the lesson here that I would suggest is, if you're asking for the order and the answer is in doubt, you're asking too soon, right? So if right now, if the way your page is set up, if somebody can just arrive on your website easily, if your homepage is like, hey, nice to meet you, give me $1,000 or $500, that's the equivalent of proposing marriage on a first date. All right, stop doing that. Remember when I talked about how, I met my wife and within a couple of weeks, I knew that she was the person that I wanted to marry? I know there are people out there who, when I said that, you cringed. You were like, that's freaking weird, Ryan. You're telling me that you knew within a couple of weeks that you wanted to marry this person. And I'm sure many of you had this sigh of relief when I pointed out that, yeah, but I didn't tell her that because that's creepy. Oh, good, he agrees that it's creepy, right? We all generally agree that proposing marriage after dating, a couple of weeks, unless it's like very extreme circumstances that I've never been around, that's a little bit unique. Let's just say unique. All right. And yet we do it in business all the time. So if you're on a webinar, if you have a sales page out there, if you are asking someone from the order and for an order, and for a fact you have people showing up to that page all the time, and there's no way that you would know that they would be ready to answer yes, then you're asking too soon. That's why they sit in the first step. It's the sixth one. The other important thing that I want you to remember about this stage is that we visualize it not as a single box, but as a ladder. And that's because ascension doesn't stop. Right? If you're adding more value, right? If you're delivering more value than you're asking for in return, right? If when your customers do business with you, if they're having a positive ROI on that relationship, then they should want to do it again and again and again. Just like if you have a fun time on the first date, you want a second date, and a third date, and a fourth date, and eventually you say, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Okay? So give them more of what they got. And usually when we think about this, so when you think, what's your core offer? Okay, think about your core offer, the main course that you plan on selling, right? Think about that, and then ask yourself, what's a way that I can deliver the result in this core offer, but I can do it faster, right? That's speed. How can I deliver the promised result in this course, but deliver it to them faster? Or how can I deliver the promised result, but deliver it with increased automation? So how can I deliver the result that they want, that the product promises? I'm not promising a new desire in result, not promising a new ideal, after. Same one, I just want to get them there faster and with less work. All right, that's what I mean by speed and automation. And then finally, how can I deliver access? Because when we found somebody that we like and trust, we want to get closer to them. We want to, touch the cloth. So think about that. That's how we typically build out our ladder of ascension. Speed can come in the form of, if it's a physical product, which I know isn't really what we're talking about here, just expedited delivery, right? Maybe speed comes in the form of software. So maybe you sell them a course on how to do it, but then you sell them software that really does it for them. That's both speed and automation. When we think about access, we're thinking about, events, masterminds, maybe some type of coaching group. Maybe they can call you up and get some consulting, okay? So that's how we build out our ladder of ascension. Remember what I talked about before? Chanel didn't define themselves by their little black dress. I don't want you to define yourself by a single product or a single service, right? I want you to think about your product as a line and as a ladder, right? Moving upwards through that journey. Okay, so begin to fill that out. And kind of the first big question that I have for you, which is hopefully one of the easier ones to answer, what's your core flagship offer? What's the main thing, the thing you're most proud of, the thing that if somebody sees this and they go through it, they're going to get value? And how are you going to continue to deliver value to your customer or client? All right, that's question number one. By the way, if you're looking at the clock and you're thinking, oh my gosh, we're only just now at question number one, we're going to be moving through this very, very quickly. Okay, so don't panic. But that's question number one. All right, now once you've answered it, go and write at least your core offer into that bottom rung on the ladder. All right, for us at Digital Marketer, just so you know, Digital Marketer Lab is our flagship subscription service. It's $38.60 a month. Then you sign up for Lab and you get access to all of our execution plans and a community and all that other stuff. We also have a higher level called Elite, which has some coaching. We offer events like Traffic and Conversion Summit, and we have masterminds as well. So that's the general ladder of ascension at Digital Marketer. What is it for you? Go ahead and fill it out. If you don't have something, it's fine. Put in a question mark. Question marks are okay. They're points of optimization for the future. Now we get to step 2. We want to splinter off an entry point offer and a lead magnet from our core offer. So we want to think about that core offer, that thing that we already have. We want to break a little chunk of content, a little chunk of value. You want to break off a little first date, so to speak. All right. So now we're focusing on these boxes right here, that stage 3 and stage 4, the convert and the subscribe stage. And to explain this, I'll just show you how we do it at Digital Marketer. All right. At Digital Marketer, I mentioned before, our core offer is DM Lab. All right. Access to our lab. And kind of the primary member benefit is access to this comprehensive execution plan library. So it's like 30 plus little mini courses on all aspects of digital marketing, right? It could be traffic generation, could be something related to conversion, right? But all these little tactical standard operating procedures on digital marketing, that's what we give people, this comprehensive library. Well, what we found is that when we first tried to sell Lab, nobody wanted to buy it. And it wasn't because it wasn't great, it's because the offer was unclear. We were making what I refer to as a vote for Pedro offer. And if you've ever seen the movie Napoleon Dynamite, you probably know what I mean. You know, when Napoleon's friend Pedro was running for class president, his motto was, his slogan was vote for Pedro and I'll make all your wildest dreams come true, right? That's oftentimes when we're selling our product or service, it's really, really big. And our message is basically like, buy my stuff and I'll make all your wildest dreams come true. And the problem is nobody really believes that. And even if they did, they wouldn't know what it was. We need to get specific. All right. Imagine if you walked up, you know, if you walked up to a woman, you're like, hey, go on a date with me and I'll make all your wildest dreams come true. That's probably not the best pickup line. Okay. I don't know. Maybe if you're good enough looking, you could pull it off. But I know I couldn't. So let's try something different. All right. What we did instead is we said, okay, what is at the time, what's the most popular execution plan of all? And this was back in like 2014. And in 2014, Facebook had just released the idea of boosting a post, of promoted posts, right? It's brand new in Facebook. So you could, there was advertising, but now they were letting you write a post in the newsfeed, and now you could sponsor that post. Now this is old hat today, but in 2014, this was all the rage, and it was the one that everybody liked the most. So think about that. What's the part of your product that everybody likes the most? For us, it was this one. So we took it and we splintered it off, meaning we sold it standalone. We broke it off and put it in its own members area, and we sold it for just $7. So to become a member of Lab was around $400 a year. But you could get access to just this one thing that a lot of people wanted for only $7. But we didn't stop there, right? So that was, you know, if Lab is getting married, then the execution plan for $7 is let's meet for coffee. But before we could even do that, we had to get their number. So we splintered off the part in the execution plan that everybody really thought was cool. And that was just a list of examples. Of example Facebook posts and Facebook post templates, and we broke that off and called it the ultimate social media swipe file. So now what happened is we would meet someone would become aware of us, eye to body, right, in Facebook. They would come to our webpage and we'd say, hey, nice to meet you. This is really cool stuff. Can I get your number? Sure. Okay, let's meet for coffee sometime. Hey, coffee sure was great. Let's go out on a date. Let's get exclusive. Let's get married. This is how we get paid members into Lab. When we try to direct sell our core offer, people said no, because we were basically walking up to them and saying, hi, nice to meet you. Let's get married. All right. When we said, hey, nice to meet you. I've got this cool thing. Would you like it? It's totally free. Just give me your email address. They said, sure, I'll do that. You know, oh, now that you have our ultimate social media swipe file, that tells us that you're probably interested in social media. Probably want to make sure your stuff gets seen. You know, Facebook has this new feature where you can actually increase the engagement of your Facebook posts by promoting them, by boosting them, by sponsoring them. Do you want to see how to do that? It's only $7. Oh, sure, $7. That's no risk. I'll pay $7. All right, great. Now that you have one of our cherished execution plans. You have this one. But did you know that our members get access to over 30 more on every topic you could ever want? If you sign up now, you can sign up, just give us $1, take a 30-day trial, and you can get access to DM Lab. When we made our funnel mirror, when we made our funnel mirror a normal, healthy human relationship, what do you know? It worked. And we went from having literally dozens of members in lab to well over 10,000 members in lab in a fairly short period of time because we did what I just showed you how to do. Okay, so the second question I have for you is, what's an entry point offer that will lead your prospect to make that micro commitment? Okay, that micro commitment. Usually we're looking for a little commitment of money or a little commitment in time, because that's how human beings show commitment, in their wallets and in their calendar. So a good example, maybe you have a webinar, but if they don't show up, there's no commitment in time or money, so it doesn't rise to the level of a conversion, of a convert. Okay, so what's that entry point offer that you can make? Ideally that you can splinter off. For us, it was a standalone execution plan. What is it for you? Go ahead and type that in. Like I said, for us, a la carte execution plan that upsells into a $1 trial. And now question number 3, how will you get their number so you have permission to follow up, right? For us, it was splintering out the ultimate social media swipe file. Okay, what is it for you? What could you break off that when somebody requests that, okay, not only do I have their contact information, not only do I have permission to follow up, but I know what they want. When somebody opted in for this particular lead magnet, when somebody opted in for our ultimate social media swipe file, we knew that they were interested in social media. Why else would you opt in for the ultimate social media swipe file if you weren't interested in social media? So it's not just that we got their name and email address, but the topic itself informed the next stage of the relationship. That's critical. The topic itself informed, and it was one seamless thing. I can't help but notice that you're at a singles bar by yourself. I'm guessing that means you want to meet somebody. I just happen to be someone. Hey, we're having great conversation. Would you like to go and get coffee sometime? Hey, coffee sure was nice. Can I take you to dinner? Dinner sure was nice. Let's do this again. Maybe the movies, dating more. Let's spend the rest of our lives together, right? Does your funnel follow? Does the flow of it follow the same form and function of an ordinary human, healthy human relationship? If it does, you're probably making a lot of sales. If it doesn't, that's probably why you're not making as many sales as you should. Now, I want to pause and see if we have any questions, but before I do that, here's an example of what not to do. When somebody opts in for your lead magnet, don't just go to the other page and say, cool, thank you. We'll talk to you later, right? Now, I love this company, Office Vibe, by the way. I love them. I think they're a great company. But when you sign up for their content, which is great, you don't know where you're going next. It's like the equivalent of getting somebody's number, right? Meeting a girl in a bar and saying, hey, this is so great. You know what, I just happen to have 2 tickets to the ballet. Can I get your number and we can go? And then she gives you her number and you say, okay, great, here's the tickets. Maybe I'll meet you there, maybe I won't, right? You wouldn't do that, right? You'd say, okay, great, I'll call you up and we'll get the tickets, right? So on that thank you page, if you get somebody to opt in, right there on that thank you page, you need to make the, hey, let's go get some coffee offer. All right, that needs to happen on that thank you page. It needs to be seamless. Don't just have them opt in and say, cool, I'll call you later, right? So, I mean, if this was more like a dating situation, it's like, hey, can I get your number so we can go grab, I'll call you next week and we can get coffee? Yeah, here's my number. Okay, cool. What are you doing Thursday? You don't need to wait and call next week. Just schedule a date right then and there while they're on your page. Make the upsell offer on that thank you page. All right, that's a biggie. So what's your relevant template, case study, resource tool? What are you going to offer in exchange for the opt-in? All right, that's the question I have for you here. Do we have any other questions? Anything that I need to pause on and get, and clarify before we move forward?
I mean, this is brilliant. People are loving this. I think let's come back to the questions because there's quite a few. We're gonna have to go through and kind of save them because it's going pretty quickly. But yeah, so right after this, guys, at the end of the presentation, we'll still have Q&A for sure. Okay, cool. So if you don't see them responding to your question, don't freak out. Don't think you're being ignored. It probably means it's so good that they're saving it until the end. Yeah, exactly. There you go. All right, cool. So then we'll move on. Step 3 is you got to deliver that aha moment, right? You got to get them excited. It doesn't matter if you get the first date, if when they show up for the first date, if you're a total creep and a total weirdo, all right? So you got to get them excited. You've got to deliver, right? This should be their feeling, right? You need them to be Jonah Hill, right? Just like super excited about everything. Now, how does that happen, right? The way that it happens is you need to find your aha. Right? You need to identify, you need to isolate that aha moment. And I would define aha as a combination of wonder and understanding, right? Wonder combined with understanding is the aha. If you just merely have wonder, but you don't know what's going on, you're confused and a little bit intimidated, right? Maybe even a little bit scared.
And we want to do this a lot of times, and as marketers and salespeople, we want to so astound people with our brilliance that they leave amazed with who we are, but terrified to move forward. So we want to combine wonder with with understanding. I get it and I want it. If you merely have understanding but no wonder, now all you're doing is answering questions that nobody asked. So we need to combine wonder with understanding. That's when we get the aha moment. And the aha moment is when the true core value clicks with a customer. And it's when it clicks with a customer and it transforms your product from a nice to have into a must have. That's when that aha moment happens. And there's 3 ways that we deliver the aha. The first is status and charisma. Can you give them a story to tell? Can you give them a new story to tell about themselves? Can you make them more interesting? I'm going to give you some examples of that in just a little bit. Aha. Number 2 is community and identity. Can you make them feel like they're a part of something? We're so lonely today, right? Is there something that you can deliver during the sales process that makes them feel like they're a part of something? I'll give you an example of one of those. And thirdly, probably the most powerful and probably the one that I would focus you in on the most is hope and progress, right? Can you give them hope? Can you, and hope is simply making somebody feel like tomorrow will be better than today, right? This idea of progress, this idea of I'm not stuck. I don't have all the answers and I haven't figured it all out, but I'm not necessarily stuck, right? So that's hope and progress, the third way. And Tesla as a company is phenomenal at delivering the aha during the sales process. So if you think about if I were going to map out the value journey for Tesla, somebody, maybe they walk into a dealership or they fill out a form online. That's a subscribe stage. But that convert stage happens when they go on a test drive, right? The test drive. That's when somebody is giving up some of their time, right? And they're going on a test drive. So you want to make sure that that test drive gets them excited. So what does Tesla do? And I recommend doing this. I bought a Tesla a couple of years ago. I've known other people who bought it and they all had the exact same experience, which tells me that this isn't something that just one sales guy did. This is scripted. All right, this is scripted. It is marketing. All right. When you take a test drive on a Tesla, they will have you do what they refer to as a launch. All right, as a launch. And a launch is when literally you get in the car, you bring it to a complete stop and you just floor it. Right, you just absolutely floor it, and you get to see, what 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds feels like. And if you do it wrong, by the way, like I did it wrong, I kind of stutter stepped, it didn't go as fast. They made me stop and do it again. Okay, because they said if you're going to own this car, you need to know how to do a launch. All right, so why is the launch so powerful? Well, number 1, it's status and charisma. Status and charisma. It's I own my own private roller coaster and you don't, right? So, as soon as I did that, as soon as I hit that, I was like, okay, this is different. I'm in. You just turned me into Batman, right? I now own a rocket ship. I'm the coolest person in the world. I could be super boring, but you get in my car, I floor it, and next thing you know, you're freaking out like this dude is, right? But also I'm now a part of a community. I have a new identity. Why? Because I know they didn't just say, let's take a test drive. They said, you're going to do a launch. They had a term for it. Right. And, other Tesla owners is like, hey, yeah, did you do a launch to your buddy and didn't tell him like, oh, yeah, I did it too. Right. And there's all these videos going around. Right. So they understand that the launch is the aha moment. That's when it clicks. That's when people get it. And that's when they deliver both status and charisma and community and identity. For us at Digital Marketer, it's amazing. We offer people so much content. And if somebody would actually go through one of the execution plans or come on to a live office hours or what's working now, if they were to consume it, then they would think, wow, that was great. Aha, I get it. I understand it. The problem is it took too long and it requires too much work. If you're going to have an aha moment, you need to be able to deliver that excitement without requiring your customer or your prospect to jump through a lot of hoops. So instead of saying, okay, step 1, now that you remember to go through an execution plan, we said step 1, log into our community, log into our Facebook group, ask a question, ask any question, ask your deepest, most critical burning question and use this hashtag, I'm new here. And we've trained our team at Digital Marketing. We've trained our longtime members. When they see that hashtag, they pounce. They pounce in a good way. So if you're a brand new Digital Marketer Lab member, you go into the community and you ask a question and use that hashtag, you're going to get an answer typically within minutes, if not seconds. So now what's happened, right? For one, somebody feels like they're a part of something. They feel like they have this new community. Literally, they have a new identity. I'm a member of something, but also hope and progress. Hope and progress. I've been wondering, I've wanted an answer to this question for so long. I'm a member of this thing. I'm still in my trial period. And within minutes, I've got an answer to this thing I've always been wondering. Hope and progress. It didn't solve all their wildest dreams. It didn't turn their business into an instant success. It didn't make them an overnight millionaire, but they felt hope. They got progress, okay? We have another online course that we sell called The Machine, and it's all about follow-up email marketing, right? And email marketing is great, it works, but step one, right? Like a 15-part email series. It's a lot of work. So instead, what we said is, you know what, just send these 3 emails. We have these 3 emails. I know you're a brand new customer. We got these 3 emails. They just work. You're not gonna understand why they work yet. We'll get to that later, but for now, just send these 3 emails to your list and see what happens. Next thing they knew, hope and progress. People were coming to their website. They were opting in for stuff. They were picking up the phone and calling. Sales were being made, right? Hope and progress. They weren't rich, but they saw, okay, I copied and pasted this email that Ryan told me to copy and paste. I click send and something happened. That wasn't something that normally happened, right? So they had hope and progress, but also community and identity, because we then encourage them, now go in the Facebook group and talk about it. So everybody's in there like, oh my gosh, I sent out the Gain Logic Fear series like you told me to do, and it worked great, right? So just when we identified that, here are these 3, just send these 3 emails. They got excited and they stayed. All right, they got excited and they stayed. They stayed a member. So what is that for you? What are your 3 emails, right? What's your I'm new here? What's your launch? What's your aha moment that will deliver and that how will you deliver that aha and that really transforms your product from a nice to have into a must have? What is that for you? What's the one thing that everybody always talked about? Pull it out. You got to get something right now. I see so many people when they're selling online courses, they have their best stuff behind this giant thick firewall. You've got to bring some of it out in front of the firewall if you want to get more customers. Just like if you want to get somebody to date you, you might have to buy them a drink or 2, right? That's fair. We understand that. So for us at Digital Marketer, it's hashtag I'm new here. What is it for you? If you haven't identified it, just put in a question mark. All right, just put in a question mark. Step 4, we need to create some engaging top of funnel content, right? And we might see people, maybe, everybody's wearing full body blue spandex and it's working great. But when people come up to you, if you just act like a weirdo or don't say anything and walk away, if you don't engage, you're not going to get to the subscribe stage. That's what really the role of content marketing. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about this, but when you think about content marketing, specifically content marketing at the top of the funnel, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to engage with our prospects. It's not necessarily about creating awareness. It's about engaging with them once it happened. The big lesson here is don't talk about your product. Talk about your customer. We talked about this in the beginning, right? It's not, we don't want to define ourselves by the products we sell. We want to define our business by the people we serve, right? Not the products we sell. It's all about the people we serve. My good friend is the founder and CEO of Snack Nation. Snack Nation does a great job of this. They have a snack delivery service for businesses. All right, a snack delivery service for small businesses. But if you look at their blog, they're not talking about snacks and how to select the best snacks. They understand that their customer, the person who's going to buy their stuff, is the HR manager. It's the office manager, right? So what do? They put out content for office managers, 39 insanely fun team building activities for work. Trust falls not included. It has nothing to do with snacks. All right, keep that in mind with your content. It's not about the product you sell, it's about the people that you serve. Whole Foods does this too. They don't put out articles on how to pick the best tomato, right? Here's a grilling guide. Now, once you got a grilling guide, you know what you want to grill, you're gonna hopefully go to Whole Foods and buy it. But they're about serving people. My buddy Ezra Firestone, who has a cosmetics company targeted at women over 50, 5 makeup tips for older women. It's not about his makeup, it's about the person. Another client subscriber of ours, Lori Taylor, she owns True Dog. They sell really high-end dog food. She doesn't write blog posts about dog food. Here's some DIY home remedies to fight doggy breath, okay? At the end of the day, answer the big questions that people have, or have a really engaging sales message. You probably saw the Squatty Potty ad that went viral, right? Because it literally has a unicorn like pooping out rainbow sherbet, right? It kind of relates, actually totally relates to the product, but it's so ridiculous that it's entertaining, right? So content is of 2 forms, either educational or entertaining. This type of ad, the entertainment ad, it's much harder to do. It's actually harder to be entertaining than it is to be informative, which is why I suggest, especially if you're in the course selling space, maybe go the informative part first. But it works. It works even if your product is boring. You know, you probably remember the Dollar Shave Club ads, right? They're selling razors. So it's a literal commodity. But they made it fun and interesting. There's an HVAC company, an air conditioning and heating repair company out of Charlotte, North Carolina called Morris Jenkins. And they've got their reps like dancing with air filters and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. What does it have to do? You know, they're not putting out content on how to change your own air filters. Nobody cares about that. But laughing at some white dude dancing with an air filter, that's universally funny. It's always hilarious when white people try to dance. So maybe just go with that one instead. So question number 5, how will you turn a glance into a stare? Advertising is great at getting a glance, but how do you turn that glance into a stare? How will you engage? For us at Digital Marketer, it's valuable blog posts, it's videos. It's actually engaging and talking to people in social media. Step 5, generate awareness with advertising. Far too many people I see try to get traffic for free. Look, it is out there. It is out there and it is readily available at all 3 of these traffic stores. Facebook, AdWords, and YouTube, and Facebook in particular is where I recommend that everybody start. Now, so often people say, oh, but Facebook advertising doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because in the past, you were probably buying it out on Facebook to like a $200, $300, $400, $500 million product. You were buying it out on Facebook saying, will you marry me? If you now buy an ad on Facebook that drives them to content where you can do some retargeting and some follow-up and get their number, take them out on a first date, right? Now all of a sudden, all these things that seemingly didn't work before, what do you know, they work. A lot of stuff that didn't work before will work when you stop proposing marriage on a first date. So how do qualified prospects find out about your brand? If it isn't true today, it should be true tomorrow. You should be running social ads. You should be running ads in Facebook. Buying AdWords ads for your top keywords. YouTube is great, especially for video retargeting. But if you just want to know where should I start, Facebook. Buy ads on Facebook, but don't buy ads on Facebook to your sales page. Buy ads on Facebook to content, to whether it's top of funnel content or some gated content. Get them to opt in, get them to sign up, then move them through the process that we've already discussed. Step 6, we want to transform happy customers into brand ambassadors. How do we create advocates? How do we create promoters? A good strategy is to involve their friends in the process. Run a challenge, right? I got a buddy of mine. He's a personal trainer and he does fitness coaching online. The first thing that he has people do is he has them take a before video of themselves and post it online, post it on their social channel. And he does this as a show of commitment. So, you know, somebody's like, hey, so I'm about to start my 90-day transformation process. So here's me before, hopefully in 90 days, I'm looking a lot fitter. But look, if you see me out like eating cheeseburgers and stuff like that, you know, call me on it, right? Call me on it. So it's built into his process. It's a part of it and it does help. That accountability part does absolutely help. But what's he also doing? He's turning his client into his marketing partner. His marketing partners, his clients out there telling everybody about how he's going through this 90-day transformation process, and that's the main way that he built his business. Also, t-shirts. T-shirts are magical. Beachbody did this. They would have somebody take a before pic and an after pic, and when you send in your before and after, they'd send you a free t-shirt. So when you gave them a testimonial, when you gave them a customer story, they sent you an ad that you got of theirs that you got to walk around in. Brilliant. I mean, they got to double dip on the advocacy. And then stickers. This is what we do at Digital Marketer. If you sign up for Lab, we send you a sticker. And you go to any Digital Marketer event and there are laptops open with these gear stickers all over the place. And we've heard stories of folks that wound up joining Lab because they saw somebody at like a coffee shop and this person, they're like, what's that sticker? And the person told them about Digital Marketer. I mean, it's not a main growth strategy, but it's kind of cool, right? To have somebody affix your brand on something that they own, right? It's not just about creating additional customers, it's about creating advocates. People who, when given the opportunity to say something nice about you, will, all right? So how will you do that? How will you encourage your happy customers to say nice things about your brand to everyone they know? Let me ask you this. Do you have, on like the 30-day mark or the 45-day mark, do you have an autoresponder? Do you have an email that goes out asking for a testimonial? Asking people, hey, how's it going? How can we help? And if they're like, it's going great, you then follow up and get a testimonial. Is that built into your marketing. All right. This is all marketing. Marketing doesn't stop when the sale is made, just like dating doesn't stop when you get married. All right. So for us, we want to get people to provide customer stories, things like that. Now let's talk about how you build promoters. Obviously, having a referral program in place, affiliates, internal champions, value-added resellers, these are all things that once somebody is a customer to be able to say, hey, if this worked for you, you should tell other people about it. And if you do that, we're gonna give you a referral fee, or we're gonna maybe reduce some of your payments. All these things are great, and you should do them. And it's how you truly transform happy customers into your marketing partners, right? So do you have a referral program in place? So the question I'm gonna ask you when it comes to really recruiting promoters, who has your customer but is providing a different product or service to them than the one that you are offering? All right, think about that. They're already talking to your customer who's out there actively engaging with the people you want, but they're offering them something different. For us at Digital Marketer, we realized that was digital agencies. So at Digital Marketer, we provide training and certification. We are not a done-for-you agency, right? We don't really even do that much consulting, but there are agencies out there who absolutely will do the work. So we thought about it, we're like, hey, it makes sense. Why don't we partner with the agencies? We've got a lot of their people. They've got a lot of the people that we want. So let's just point at one another and say, hey, they're good. And that's why we launched our certified partner program, our agency partner program. And selfishly, if you are an agency and you want to partner with us and find more about us, there's a link. Also, if you're thinking about launching your own partner program or value-added reseller program, there's a link where you can go and look at how we sell our program. So if nothing else, you can use it to model your own. So the last question, question 8, how will you turn your best customers into your marketing partners? Who are those people out there talking to the folks that you want? They're actively engaging with them already. How can you engage with them, right? How do you turn your best customers into your marketing partners? For us at Digital Marketer, it's about getting the people who join Lab and the people who engage, but who raise their hand and say, I'm an agency, I'm a consultant, to actually join our partner program, or getting the people who are really excited to become a referral partner, which we offer in Lab as well. All right. So once you've been able to build all of this out, congratulations, right? You've done something that very few businesses have done and will ever do. You have mapped the process. You have mapped the journey that your customers go through from starting in a less desirable before state into a more desirable after state. You've mapped the process by which you deliver value to your customers, but you've also mapped the process by which you go about transforming strangers into friends, into customers, and into raving fans. This is how businesses are built, and tragically few companies do it. They may have it, but they don't document it, and therefore they can't measure it, and therefore they can't improve upon it. All right. So now it's your turn, kind of your homework. Download the value journey here, digitalmarketer.com/journey. Scroll down to that page. You can download it totally free, no opt-in or anything like that required, and start mapping out your value journey. And with that, gang, I am done. I apologize that I think I went a couple minutes long on the hour. Hopefully we still have some time for Q&A.
This has been so good. Can everyone just say thank you to Ryan? We're definitely going to do Q&A. But yeah, that was great. I learned a lot.
That was really incredible. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Now, we actually just spent a lot of time talking about, the tools and tactics and strategies that you can use. Ryan went a great job into going into a ton of detail here. But now it's actually time to take a step back for a minute. We're going to have Q&A. We're going to have Q&A pretty soon, but we're going to take a step back for a minute and talk about kind of, I want to say, the missing ingredient here, the thing that none of this would be possible without. I want to take some time to talk about you. So what do I mean by that? I mean that first, what I want you to do right now is just look at your screen and maybe close your eyes and take a deep breath and remember that you can do this, okay? Now, this might seem a little overwhelming. During this webinar, during other webinars, during the whole summit, you might have been hearing a lot of different tools and tactics and terminology and strategies and kind of new stuff. So if you feel a little bit like this, just let me know in the chat. And that is totally fine, because again, I just want to stress that you can do this. Now, one quick thing that we've done here at Teachable is that we've realized that stress, that feeling of overwhelm, is something that's really getting in the way of people's businesses. It's something that's really getting in the way of people deciding, you know what, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to start creating online courses. They're just a little bit not sure what to do next. Okay. They're just a little bit unsure what to do with this overwhelming amount of new information. It seems like a whole new world. So we wanted to provide a little bit of a guide. So why did we do this? Well, the thing at Teachable is that we have a little bit of an unfair advantage. Okay, we have access to all the behind the scenes data for literally tens of thousands of our creators. So that means we know what works, we know what doesn't, and we found that there are two things you really need. The first thing you need is the platform, the technology. And that's where Teachable comes in. We've built the best platform out there. It's simple, it's beautiful, it's easy to use, everyone loves it. But the second part is a hard part. The second part is having a proven plan to follow from people who have done this before, having a guide, having something that actually sits you down and tells you what to do. Because we found that while people had the tech, they really didn't know what to do with it. And we thought that we were going to come up with something that can solve this. Now, so if you want to figure out a course topic that people are going to love, that people are going to resonate with, that people are going to fall in love with, if you want to use this course, if you want to use your courses and your digital products to become more well-known in your space, start building your credibility and building your trust and rapport with your audience, if you want to use that to grow your income, since you provided value for others, they should be providing value for you. And speaking of providing value, if you want to do this while helping a lot of people, actually delivering something of value to their lives and making their lives a little bit better, helping them with their transformations, and then build a community around yourself doing that, and you're looking to get started with this in the next 30 days, well, then we've put together an incredible bundle for you. Now, I know that it's not Black Friday yet, but it's Black Friday in a few days. And that's why I wanted to put together this offer, which you can buy just by clicking that button that should be appearing up above right now. So what's in this Black Friday offer? Why are we doing this? What's for sale? How much do you have to pay? Like, let's talk about the details. So first of all, I'm not going to hide the price. The most people go with our annual professional plan, which is normally $100 a month. Today, when you sign up, you get a whole year and you save 2 months. So you pay $9.99 today, you get access to an entire year subscription for our professional plan. Now, our professional plan is by far our most popular plan. It has pretty much all the features of our really high-end $300 plan, but at 1/3 the price. So that means you have unlimited courses and students, 100% customizable look and feel, custom domain, progress tracking and analytics, quizzing, e-commerce, e-marketing, white labeling, drip content, and most importantly, no transaction fees and instant payouts. Just link your payment accounts to Teachable and you will get the money you make on the platform instantly. So when you sign up today, you get a year of our professional plan. But again, like I said, that's the easy part. Once you have the platform, you have all the technology that you need, but then you need that step-by-step plan to help you create and launch your course. Well, and to do that, we sat down with Ryan and a bunch of other really successful online course and digital product creators. We sat down with them to put together an incredible bundle for you guys today that you're going to get for free when you join us on an annual professional plan. So first and foremost is Ryan's Funnels Blueprint course. Now, Ryan, you've given us a lot of info in the presentation today. Could you tell us a little bit more about what they're going to get on this full course?
Yeah, so for one, you're going to get a complete walkthrough of how to build out each and every stage of the value journey that we talked about. The bigger thing though is we're going to zoom in on that convert stage, because that's the one where everybody seems to get stuck, and it's the most critical. That if you can get to that stage and you can set it up and you can craft what we call an ideal sales conversation, and you can build it into the actual delivery of the product, that's when the process of selling your courses becomes kind of automatic, right? Because you're not trying to sell a course, you're trying to just sell this one thing, get that first date before, and everything else just happens. But it's a pretty heady concept, and I need to show a lot of examples, and so that's when we built it into this premium course here. So really zooming in and focusing on that, getting you a lot more customers, and then automatically ascending them into higher end customers.
And you're doing something a little bit different than you normally do with the folks from this offer, right? I think you're doing like an hour-long advanced workshop and a Q&A.
Right, that's exactly what we're going to do. So the nuts and bolts of the walkthrough are going to be available to you, so that everybody has a chance to go through it. But then that zoom in part that I mentioned, that we're going to be doing live over a webinar, so that everybody will have the foundational knowledge that we need, which is going to allow me to teach what I would normally have to teach over the course of about a day, about a 6 to 8 hour class. I'm going to be able to compress into just about 90 minutes, zooming in on that convert stage, because everybody will have the foundational knowledge that we have. So that's the only kind of caveat I would give you. I'm giving you one course so that I can teach you a really advanced one. But if you don't go through the first one, if you don't take the time to do that, which isn't very long, but if you don't take the time to do that, then you might feel a little bit lost. But I know we're going to be recording it and things like that. So if you want to show up for the live one, even if you haven't taken the prerequisite training, it'll still make sense eventually, but you're going to be doing yourself a big favor and save a lot of time if you go through the prerequisite training that I believe you're going to get access to right away. And then we'll do the more advanced training live together. That way it can be a lot more interactive.
Sounds great, Ryan. And like we were saying, this is something that Ryan, again, normally sells. Plus we have this added bonus live training that comes along with it. And Ryan's agreed to provide this for free when you join us on an annual plan today. It's
something that we normally sell, just to clarify, for more than what you guys are charging for the annual plan.
Yeah, we've had to do some arm twisting here at Teachable HQ.
Yes. There's reasons I have a vested interest in wanting to see all this. I believe deeply in the in the company, and so I'm happy to do it. But it certainly isn't normal.
Absolutely. So not only do you get Ryan's incredible course plus the live training, like I said, we've also worked with a few other folks as well. So Denise Duffield-Thomas, you might have seen her incredible blog. She's an expert at setting prices. So deciding, how do I do this? Do I do $99 one-off? Do I do 3 payments of $77? Do I do like a $10 membership? Does that come with it? Is that an add-on? Like there's lots of stuff that goes into pricing that you probably haven't thought about. Well, Denise she has an entire advanced pricing workshop on this, which she sells for $200. And she's including it for free when you join us on the annual plan. Now, Brian Harris is an expert at building your email list. So in this case, his course focuses on going from 0 to 10,000 subscribers, which is the most important time, way more important than the 10,000 to 20,000 or 20,000 to 50,000. That first 10K, that's the most important. And he goes into step-by-step detail on how to get there. He sells this for $500. He's including it free when you join us on an annual plan today. So Regina Anejanu, she has an incredible course about building a course in a weekend. And now I know that sounds crazy, but actually getting down the step-by-step stuff to building your course, setting out the outline, putting together the title, doing all this stuff in one weekend, that's what it's built for. Meant to be a quick little boot camp. She sells it for $200 and we're including it free today. Melissa Farr, she has a course all about you. Now, I've said that before, but by all about you, I mean it's about getting into the right mindset, mastering the objections, getting set up with your inner planning stages. She does a great job of going into detail in all of this. She's been doing this for a long time. This is a course she sells for $300, and we're including it free. And then just a few last ones. Now, Alana Kevalia, if you have enjoyed this webinar and you want to do your own webinars, this is the course for you. So Alana, she actually upgraded on one of these prior summits and has since gone on to launch a 6-figure online business focusing on yoga training. Now, she does most of that through webinars. And if you're curious to hear how she does that, well, she has a course that she sells for $200 that we're including for free. And Caleb Wojcik, he's a world-renowned videographer. He shoots for folks like Pat Flynn, and we even hired him ourselves for some stuff. But if you don't have all the money it takes to hire him or buy his professional equipment, you can instead take his course for $300. Or if you join us on the annual plan today, you will get it for free. This is about how you can build incredible DIY video, all with equipment that you probably already have, and with using natural light and all this fun stuff that I love. Now, last but not least in courses, our own head of content here at Teachable, her name is Randall Browning. She's an expert content marketer and salesperson. and she put together a masterclass about creating profit boosting upsells. Now, what is an upsell? It's a built-in feature of Teachable's checkout system that works like this. Somebody buys your $100 course and you have got the VIP version for $200. After they buy that $100 version, they get an instant redirection to the page that says, thank you for buying. I know that you like the VIP version even more. Here's a 20% off coupon. And like right there when they're in that buy mode, all they have to do is press one button and they've instantly bought the VIP version. Or they buy your $100 course and you upsell them to your $20 a month subscription membership. Anything like that. Upsells can boost your sales like an incredible amount, and we have them built in Teachable. So no need to pay for another checkout software. So Randall's course goes into all the detail about how to maximize this. Now, on top of all of those courses, we've heard people asking for the replays. And I just want to let you know that when you upgrade to the annual plan, you'll get all 18 live event replays. We are going to have these available for free for a limited time. Then afterwards, they're going away unless you want to pay us a couple of $100s. But for people who join us on the annual plan, you're going to be getting all of them for free forever. And last but not least, in the professional plan, you'll be getting our two most valuable bonuses of all. The first are our live group coaching calls. You'll get 8 weeks of access to these. Now, these are led by me. Hey there, that's me. And I lead these with other members of the Teachable team, with guest posts, and with instructors just like yourself. So these turn into like a masterclass style format with me, with instructors, with other people. And it's just about an hour or 40 minutes of everyone talking about their difficulties, sharing their tips for success, talking about the strategies that they've been using recently, asking for advice and help and feedback. Again, turns into a real masterclass style format. We sell access to these. You get 8 weeks of free access when you join us on the Pro plan. And last but not least, probably our most valuable bonus of all, this is something that we normally include on our high volume plan, the one that's $300 a month. But as part of our annual Pro plan, we're able to offer you 2 hours of concierge onboarding for free. Now, what this is you sit down for 2 hours one-on-one on a video call with a member of the Teachable team. Now, it's like having them over your shoulder as they help you set up your courses, give you advice, walk you through the system, and they just take that learning curve and they bend it down a little bit. So again, you get 2 hours of access to these. Again, something that is normally 3 times the price, you get that for free. Now, this seems like a lot, and it is. It's a lot to go through, but you go through all of these courses at your own pace. So they're very easy to do, even if you're busy sitting on the beach. And all that we need from you is to watch the videos, do the action items that we tell you, ask the right questions, and you'll be able to take action and get results. Because at the end of the day, you're using the exact same platform that thousands of our Teachable instructors have used to grow their online course businesses. So just everything you're getting today. Oh, and by the way, when you upgrade, I'm already seeing a few come through. When you upgrade, please let us know in the chat so we can make sure to expedite your bonuses. So again, just to sum up everything you're getting today, when you sign up for our annual Pro plan, you're getting DIY video production by Caleb Wojcik, advanced pricing by Denise Duffield-Thomas, 0 to 10K subscribers by Brian Harris, selling our courses with webinars by Lana Kay, Mindset Mastery by Melissa Farr, creating your course in the weekend by Regina Nejanu, creating profit boosting upsells by Randall, and last but not least, the customer value journey by yours truly, Ryan Dice. Plus, you'll get all our live event replays, 2 hours of concierge onboarding on Pro, and on Pro, 8 weeks of group Q&A coaching. Now, when you join us on our annual Pro plan, again, that's $9.99 for the year. We're going to give you all of those courses and all of those bonuses as a gift. But I should mention we also have a basic plan. It's $399 for the year, and it still has some of the features from Pro, but it's not quite the same. This is about a third of the people on, about a third of the number of the people on Pro end up going with Basic. So here's why. You can still have unlimited courses and students, still customize your look and feel, still have a custom domain, etc. But on the Basic plan, there's a lot of things that just aren't quite as good. Like you can't have other people come in and manage your school or get automatic revenue shares for contributing courses. And one of the main things is on the Basic plan, we process all the payments for you and then send you a payment every days. But first we take a decent sized transaction fee. So on a $100 sale on the Pro plan, you make about $97. On a $100 sale of the Basic plan, you have to wait for a while and you make about $92. That is a difference that adds up. Now, again, if this is the right decision for you and your business, then just select your plan up above to buy the bundle now. If you're already on a Teachable annual plan, selecting your plan up above will extend it. You don't have to do anything extra. If you're on a monthly plan, selecting your plan up above will automatically switch you to it after providing you with a pro-rated discount based off of your current plan. It's all built in. It's all seamless. If you don't have any account yet, still click the upgrade button because you create an account during the process. Now, I'm going to say this twice, and here's the first time. This still gets better, because we want to talk to the people who are still kind of on the fence. And this is where these slides come in. So the first, it still gets better, is about our guarantee. It is the best guarantee we can possibly offer, because not only do you have 30 days to go through everything, I mean, set up your school, download everything, all the resources, go through the bonuses and the courses. If by the end of those 30 days you decide that Teachable isn't perfect for you, let us know and we will give you a full refund, no questions asked. This is not like calling Comcast and being like, oh, I'd like to cancel my Comcast plan. And then they pass you over to the retentions department who puts you on hold for an hour. Then you get some lady who says no, and then she hangs up. No, that's not what it's like. So that's why I'm able to say this is 100% risk-free. All you have to do is just tell us you want a refund and we'll give it to you. So I want to be transparent here. We collect your money up front. You pay us your subscription fee today, okay? This isn't like a free trial, but we're able to offer free trials because we give these 100% money back, risk-free policies. This is what happens when you get a free trial, like LinkedIn. They sign you up for the free trial for LinkedIn Premium. Then 30 days goes by and you forget about it and they bill you $1,000. And then you're like, hey, I forgot about this. I want my money back. And they're like, ha, good luck. And they hang up. No, because they offer that free trial, their money back policy isn't generous. We're the opposite. You pay us the money up front because we ask for some commitment. But if you decide it's not for you, you get all your money back. And the second reason it still gets better, okay, is that there's a bonus if you are upgrading on the webinar today. Now, I have some bad news for you, which is that this is day 6 of the summit, and unfortunately, you have missed the other five, what we're calling fast action bonuses. Those are only for people who upgraded on the prior webinars. I'm sorry about that, but if you upgrade on today's webinar, no time like the present, you'll get today's and you'll get tomorrow's. You just won't get any of the previous 5 days. I'm sorry about that, but it's still worth it. So this course is by Kimra Luna. She is a dynamite teacher teaching marketing, ads, how to create courses. She's incredible at all of this stuff. Now, she has a great little course about Facebook ads for people with online courses, and she generously agreed to give this to us, which she normally sells for $50, but it's free for everyone who joins us on the webinar today, either on Basic or Pro. This is a total summary of what you're getting today, over $4,000 worth of stuff, and that's the actual number. I'll talk more about that later. So when you sign up today, you get our annual Pro plan for $9.99, and included you get the DIY video production, advanced pricing, 0 to 10K subscribers, selling out your courses with webinars, mindset mastery, creating your course in a weekend, the customer value journey, creating profit boosting upsells, all the replays, concierge onboarding, Q&A coaching, and Facebook ads for course creators. You get that all over $4,000 worth of training when you join us today. Now, here's what some people have said after taking some of these strategies and implementing them. Fiona says, after 2 weeks of relentless periscoping, a free workshop, tweeting, and marketing, I'm closing registration to my first course on Teachable with 40 paid students at $97 a student. I am so excited. And Alan, he said, I'm speechless. Did a soft launch of the course I've been working on less than 72 hours later, and I'm already $6,000 plus in sales. I was struggling to get my course off the ground for a while, but I discovered Teachable's platform just last month, and it was so easy to set everything up. Now, my favorite part of the story, Alan has gone on to have multiple 6-figure launches, and he's left his day job. Now, we're going to have a live Q&A in a second, but again, here's what to do next. Just type into the chat so that we know that you've upgraded, okay? That way we can welcome you and expedite your bonuses. All you have to do is just select your plan above. If you already have an annual plan, this will extend it. And if you already have a pre-existing school, when you click on your plan button, just click login at the bottom. Then once you upgrade, you're going to get an email from us automatically on how to access all of those bonuses. Just follow the instructions and log in, and you'll see everything there. Now, again, how are we able to do this? How are we able to give away $4,000 worth of stuff in exchange for you paying us $1,000? Now, why wouldn't we just sell you the $4,000 worth of stuff? Doesn't that make sense? So here's why, okay? Now, back in the day, we used to make a lot of our money from selling courses and training and replays and webinars and all this stuff. Like, that was how we made a ton of money. But then we realized in the long run that since we're a course hosting company, we're going to make more money in the end if we actually keep our customers successful. And the way we found that was that we gave away some of these bonuses and trainings to people who upgrade to pro plans, and they did a lot better. They recommended us to their friends and family. They paid us more. It was great. So even though we lose up on the upfront revenue from selling you those $4,000 worth of courses, we more than make it up on the back end because you're happy, you stick with us, you bring more people to us, and you keep on staying as our customer. We're here to build relationships, not to extract every dollar from you. And that's why this is a nice business to be in. And if you need help, our customer care team is standing by, okay? We actually just rolled out live chat for people who are upgrading to the annual pro plan. For everyone else, we've got great email support, okay? Now, with this bundle, with the Teachable team behind you, with Ryan's advice, with everyone else's help, we are here to make sure you're successful. Now, our live Q&A is starting now, so ask us all your questions. We'll be sticking around for a little while, and we want to make sure that you are getting started with confidence. All right, now I'm just going to exit that and hop back to the chat. So everyone, we are here. We are live. We're here to answer your questions. And Jane has upgraded from basic to pro. So virtual high five.
And to everyone that's been upgrading while we were talking.
Virtual high fives and real high fives. Elizabeth Lund and Jane, congrats guys. Virtual high fives and real high fives all around. Jonathan Huggins says Teachable is awesome. Jonathan, even if you didn't upgrade, actually I know about you. Okay, virtual high five for Jonathan.
Yeah.
And real high five. Oh, this is actually a good question for Ryan. So what would be like the top KPIs for your sales funnel, Ryan, when you're like kind of looking at results?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the nice thing about identifying each of those stages is each stage has its own KPI. So if we think about like from an awareness perspective, we're probably talking about unique visitors, right? Maybe we're even looking at cost per click. But I think the most critical KPI that anybody can really look at, if you want to get a forward-looking KPI that's going to tell you where your business is going, identify what that convert stage is for you. Like for us at Digital Marketer, it's when somebody signs up for a lab trial. So everything that we have, I can tell you, are we going to have a good month next month? Are we growing as a company just by identifying how many lab trials do we have? If it turns out that we don't have a lot of lab trials, then I can ask myself, okay, are we having a conversion issue or do we have a traffic issue? In other words, are we not getting the same number of conversions that we were normally getting, or is awareness down? You know, or sometimes maybe, and this has happened before, we had an opt-in form that was broken, right? So when we looked at the subscribe stage, we said, wow, we're not getting nearly as many subscribers, but awareness is right where it needs to be. What's going on? Why did stuff work? Oh, the form's broken. You know, so that's why you've got to look at each stage. And what I love so much about the value journey canvas is it doesn't just kind of tell you where you need to be looking at in terms of metrics, but it also helps to align the tactics that you should be worrying about, right? So there's a lot of people who they want to generate, you know, you mentioned you have the bonus is on Facebook ads. That's great. And you need that if you don't currently have a lot of awareness. But if you're getting a ton of traffic, if your awareness is through the roof, but you're not converting, then I would tell you, yeah, get that course, but maybe go through one on, maybe go through the webinar one first that you had. I think it was Alana.
Yep.
Yeah, go through the webinar one first, because you need to get better at converting these people once you have them. You don't want to pour more water into a leaky bucket. It's also why we optimize and built in the order that we did, right? You optimize in reverse and then go. So that's an incredibly long-winded answer to a simple question.
No, that's really helpful. And just a follow-up question to that, Tom was wondering, how do you leverage remarketing in the funnel?
Yeah, so if you go back and look at the value journey, again, you'll see some, it's a bit like chutes and ladders, right? So you'll see there's some dashed arrows that if you don't proceed, so when we think about the convert stage, right? If you notice there's a solid green arrow, if you've downloaded the PDF, right? There's a solid green arrow that takes you to Excite, but if they don't convert, then what that means is you need to re-engage them. Similarly, if they come to your blog post and view some of your content, but they don't subscribe. They just weren't fully engaged. So we leverage retargeting to get people re-engaged. Either people who didn't subscribe or people who didn't convert, to essentially send them right back through the process again.
That's awesome. Sorry guys, the questions are coming in really quickly. So if we miss them, please just repaste them in. Another interesting one from Sandra. If you have different courses in different niches, is there one funnel you can create for the whole school of courses?
Yeah, so again, I recommend building businesses around the people you serve, not the products that you have, right? So to me, a business is defined by a market. So if all of these different products serve the same market, then absolutely. If they serve definitely different markets, then sorry, but you're probably going to need to sign up for a couple of different Teachable accounts. I don't think you're going to hurt anybody's feelings Teachable for that. But yeah, it can be really confusing, right? Because we don't want the person that you see like in the old movies, right? Some guy walks into a town. It's like, hey, something's wrong. I need to talk to the sheriff. The guy walks out like, I'm the sheriff. And he's like, oh, okay, well, my kid's hurt. You have a doctor? Like, I'm also a doctor and the mayor. And then it's like, no, you're creeping me out, right? We want to know that people are specialists. We want to know that they do. But by the way, that's the reason I love what you've done and how you've put this package together. You guys acknowledge that you're the ones that are providing the platform, but you're going to the people who know their particular fields better than anybody else and having them create the courses. I'm not a basketball player. If you knew my height, you would know that. But I wouldn't want to learn how to shoot baskets from the maker of Spalding, right? And I think going with your customers, they want to know that you're the best at what you do, and showing that you specialize is one of the clearest ways to show that. So don't try to pack it all into one area. Be a specialist.
That's brilliant. Oh, Ryan was asking what your certified partner link was again.
Digitalmarketer.com/partners.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so guys, keep your questions in, even if you have questions about Teachable or there's something that is holding you back, like you want to know if there's a certain feature that we have, definitely ask those in the chat as well.
Yeah, we're here to make sure that you're getting started with confidence. So whether it's a question about the tech, whether it's a question about the marketing, we're here for that.
So Tom, the course that you have, by the way, on the upsells, sorry, who is that by?
Randall.
By Randall, yeah. So when I talked about the ladder of ascension, that's exactly what that is, right? And the fact that you guys have the technology that facilitates that is big. When I got started, we had to hack that together, probably violate numerous credit card laws and things to make it work. That's a biggie. If that ladder of ascension can be seamless with one click, they'll actually go up it like right away. Remember, it's not about the rate of progression through. It's just about not skipping steps.
Right.
Okay, so Karen, your basic renewal date is in a few days, but you can't seem to re-up. Okay, so Karen, if you just select the basic plan and then just go through the flow, it should extend it for a year. Again, if you're running into issues, support@teachable.com or just teachable.com/help, and we'll be happy to help. Cheryl is upgraded.
Boom.
Virtual high five.
Oh, that's a real high five and then a virtual
high
five.
Oh boy, the virtual has become real and vice versa. It's like the Matrix here.
Stay 6.
Bev says, how do you offer upsells on Teachable? So Bev, this is built right into Teachable. Basically, right after someone buys a course, they get brought to what we called a thank you page, which, back they used to just say like, thanks for buying the course, enjoy. But now you can add upsells to the thank you page. So they'll say, thank you for buying the course. Well, here's a little video about how valuable this course is. And here's why you should check out the VIP version. Or here's why you should check out the $20 a month subscription membership on top of the course. Now, the important thing for an upsell is that not only do you have like a place for that information, but that the upsell is one click, okay? So since their payment information is already saved, they just click upgrade, and then they'll be able to get everything just with one click. So it's saved, it's easy, it's built right in. And there are platforms out there like specific cart software that has upsells as a feature, and they charge $99 a month just for that cart, not even for like the courses, not for the memberships, not for any of like the actual stuff we have to pay for, just for the cart. So I think that's too much. So that's why we decided to have it built in.
Yuri also upgraded. I think, was it Yuri that you came on just
virtual
to
high
upgrade?
five, real high five.
Yeah, I think he went on his lunch break or something, just upgrade. So thank you for being here. Okay,
Tom says, talk about KPIs, important to track conversion goals. And that's easy to do with Teachable.
Bless
And
you.
it's only with Teachable.
Bless you.
Didi, how do I upgrade from Pro to Pro Annual? Didi, just select the Pro plan from above, and it will tell you that it's converting it from a monthly to an annual plan. And Yuri, sorry about that.
Yes, sorry about that.
Very, very apologetic. So Bev says, I live in the UK. Do you help with MOS? Yes. Bev, I am more familiar with VAT MOS than any American should be, because we've been dealing with this for a long time. We're actually quite good at it. So we have built-in VAT processing and VAT and VAT. Why am I forgetting the word? Compliance. There we go. And VAT compliance. So basically, the way it works on Teachable is that we automatically detect a user's country, and then we charge an appropriate amount of VAT on top of that, like at the moment of the sale. And then we will send it ourselves to the MOS authorities. You don't have to send it, we'll send it ourselves. Now, imagine how big the time savings are with that. We handle all of the VAT headaches. How do I see what plan I'm on the moment? Okay, so I should actually maybe show, or just here, I'll just type it in. So when you're in your school, just go to /admin/settings/plan. Okay. So for the US, Ashley Clayton, you all guys have all the tax stuff built in for the US too. Okay, so just to be clear, there's lots and lots of things that people can need by tax stuff. For instance, we don't automatically handle like state and local sales tax because that varies again by state and by even county or town. Like that's really complicated. We're interested in doing that, but that's really hard. But we do, for instance, manage all the earnings. So if the transaction goes over our gateways, that is the one that we collect it and then we pay out every 30 days. If the transaction goes over our gateways, we'll pay you out every 30 days and we'll send you a 1099 at the end of the year. And if you have affiliates that we're paying out, we'll send them 1099s. It's really easy. It's built right in.
Gosh, really great questions here. So Ryan, here's one for you. What is a good practice to engage affiliates in your funnel?
Yeah, so again, an affiliate, we would put at the promoter stage. So I think you need to be doing one of two things. Either it is someone who you have identified, they're actively serving the same customers, but providing a totally different solution. So like what we're doing right now, right? I talk about how to do this stuff. You guys provide the platform. Like we're ideal promoters for one another. Just get a little bit meta, but also I guess a way that you can do it more automatically and by converting those customers into your marketing partners, have a process built in. So if you sell a product, have a process built in to create those advocates. And maybe that's every month we run a challenge and you try to get everybody who's going through your product to complete something. And at the end, if they complete the challenge, then you send them a t-shirt or a sticker, or you could have the before and after. Building something you could have as a part of it, baking that accountability. Go tell your friends. Now, when someone does that, you really want to be watching it, because it's when they do that, that's when you do the proactive reach out and you say, okay, I saw that you did this. Thanks so much. Congratulations. Or to companies, the prize or the t-shirt. That's when you proactively reach out to them and you say, we would love for you, you've already done this. We'd love to give you reseller access or referral access or affiliate access or whatever you want to call them. That way you can actually generate additional revenue when you keep doing what you're already doing. So in other words, you ask after they've taken the action. And that's how all this stuff is, right? We don't ask for the next thing until they've done the thing before that. The sequence matters so much. The stuff that I can get away, for me at this point to walk up to my wife and give her a smack on the booty in the kitchen, right? I can get away with that. I've been married for 15 years. If I'd have done that the first day I met her, she'd have slapped me, right? So what you're talking about is kind of walking up to somebody, to a customer, and give them a little smack on the booty, right? That's if they've asked. Now I made it weird. If they say they asked for it, if they've already taken some actions beforehand that would suggest that they want to go to that next level, if they really are liking your brand, then that's the time to do it. Don't try to recruit affiliates before they've experienced any joy from your product. They're going to say no.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And someone's asking.
Snohomish Brown has upgraded.
Ooh, welcome. Oh,
virtual high five and real high five.
There's one about lead magnets. Can you give us a couple of ideas for killer lead magnets?
Yeah, the first thing I would say is simply answer the questions that you get asked all the time. We did this. So I'll give you some fairly extreme examples. I had a friend of mine who was in the dating space. So he taught guys how to, and it wasn't like the weirdo, like pickup artist kind of stuff. Like it was actually like sincerely just trying to help really shy guys. Like, and he had this thing called the biggest question that he always got was, how do I know if a girl is ready to be kissed? Right. Which is a very thoughtful kind of thing, right? If you're a guy, you don't want to move too quickly, but you also don't want to be prudish and get friend zoned, right? So that was the big question that everybody wanted to know. That was the big question everybody asked, the big answer they wanted to know. Now, funny enough, it's not really the right question that they should be asking, because the reality is none of these guys were actually even talking to women. What they should have been asking is, how do I meet a woman? And if I do, what do I say? Right? That's what they should, but that's not what any of them were asking. They were all asking, how do I know if she's ready to be kissed? So he put together this thing. It's, the kiss test, and here's how you know, and here's what you can do, and, opt in here to get it. Now, once people opted in, that was when he kind of revealed, like, okay, great. So here's the kiss test. Now that you know it, the question is, do you know any women? Have you met any that you could try this on? If not, then we've got this like powerful conversations kind of course that he could upsell them to. So I'm telling you, when you're doing your marketing, to stay in sequence. But when you're teaching, we must first answer the question that everybody is asking, and then we earn the right to answer the question they should be asking, right? So we want to deliver that value first. Then we can come back around. But even when we were selling industrial water filters to desalinization plants, right? The big question that everybody was asking is, how much is it? So we just put together a pricing guide and had them download that. So if you kind of stay there, if you linger into like, what's the big thing that everyone wants to know? I prefer using tools. So very often, instead of publishing a report, people don't really want to read. They don't want to download a report. I'd sooner give somebody a worksheet or an Excel spreadsheet, or, I mean, look, the value journey canvas is a great example. I'm making it available to you free, no opt-in required, but we could say opt-in to get the value journey canvas, because it's cooler than opt-in to get this report on how to map your value journey, right? Again, what's the end result? If it's a tool, then there's something I have to do. You can accompany with it a report or a video so they know how to use it, but highlight the widget, highlight the thing, make it sexy.
That's brilliant. And also, I'd love if you guys could type in, like, what's a question you guys get asked the most too, and start kind of thinking for that as well. That's a great point.
So actually, here's a very good question. So Ashley Clayton was asking if we had any recommended course in the legalities stuff, the tax things of business, etc. So I don't have too much guidance on that, because I am actually, we're not lawyers, we're not accountants here. We do have some lawyers and accountants who work here, but they're not here to give you guys tax advice. That's a whole other kettle of fish. But what I would recommend asking in our private instructor Facebook group. Okay. Now there are over 19,000 people in this Facebook group. So I'm going to paste in the link a bunch of times, and I'd like you to join our private instructor Facebook group. Just join it right there. It's great. And Didi, you do not need to put in a coupon code. You're all set. We know who you are automatically without the coupon code. So again, join our private instructor Facebook group. I'm just going to drop in the link a few more times. But yeah, we will see you there.
Great question. It's more a teachable question, but remind me again, what other integrations do you get with a pro plan?
So Tom, with the pro plan, you get all of our integrations, including our in-depth Zapier integration. And with the pro plan, you also get incoming Zaps. So what that means is that you can use Zapier to create people in Teachable and enroll them in courses. Like if someone joins your newsletter, you can add them to the free mini course, that kind of stuff. On all the other plans, you can only do outbound Zaps. Okay. Didi, you do not need to be putting in a coupon code. No need to put in a coupon code. Mariana says, when does the summit end? Mariana, tomorrow is the last day of the summit. I know, so sad.
And also, Jen has got to run and see at the next session. Yeah, so guys, at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have a panel on video and how to use it in your business. So you don't want to miss that either. 6 p.m. Eastern.
I'm not an attorney, but I'm available to answer legal questions. Just know they'll probably be wrong.
Oh, that's my favorite type of legal.
Yeah, medical questions too.
So
I'll just throw it out there.
from Brisbane. Can Teachable integrate with Infusionsoft? Yes, we can. We integrate it with them via Zapier. So Joanna Lopez, Ryan, do you recommend to make an upsell on the thank you page of your lead magnet? Can you elaborate more? So I'm not Ryan, but I'll say that the thank you page to the lead magnet might be for me a little bit early to start selling the person. Maybe like wait till a little bit later. But I'm curious to hear what Ryan says here.
I mean, it depends on what you're selling and the price point. So if somebody's opting in for a lead magnet and on that very next page, you're selling them, again, what I would classify as a convert stage. So that's a small commitment of money. It's usually an impulse buy. But again, it's like, hey, you want to go grab some coffee. It's non-committal. So it's not your main course, right? It might be that you're doing what we did at Digital Marketer, which is you break off maybe a single module or a piece of a module into its own standalone course. And maybe you only sell that for like, $10 or $20, right? So can you go from an opt-in to, hey, can I have $10? Sure. Right away. Can you go from an opt-in to, can I have $50, $100, $200, $500? I wouldn't. In our experience, it hasn't worked as well, but we've absolutely gone from an opt-in of, I can't help but notice it, you just downloaded our Facebook ad templates, right? I mean, that's an example. We have a comprehensive training on how to set up and launch your very first Facebook ad campaign. Normally it's $47, but if you want to sign up here, you can get it for $7. That works. Like we know that works. And then it's very easy to ascend somebody from there into a full membership. You don't want to put somebody in some kind of upsell hell, by the way, where it's just one after another after another. At most we'll do two, usually. I mean, I'll admit it, that's arbitrary. Do what feels right for you and what's congruent to your brand. I don't know how many upsells you guys will let folks do at Teachable, but assuming it is an endless string, I'm going to really encourage people, for the sake of humanity, 2 if you're really feeling froggy, maybe 3, but 1 or 2 is about right.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So there's a really great question from Jeffrey that I think will apply to a lot of people. Okay, so Jeffrey says, my biggest problem is that I don't have an audience that is asking questions, nor are they responsive when I actively engage them and ask my own questions. So what Jeffrey was wondering is, what other outlets are there for gathering feedback? And I think this is a great point for anyone that's starting out that maybe doesn't have a following or a customer base already.
Yeah, you've got to go where they are. When we bought a company that was in the industrial water filter, and I use it because it's such a bizarre example, and if it works in this space, it'll work anywhere. So we acquired an industrial water filter manufacturer. I knew absolutely nothing about that industry. So the very first conference that was taking place, we attended, and I walked around and I asked people questions. When Digital Marketer made a pivot from membership and subscription of individual trainings into actual certification, right? So we switched to certification and really going up market into team training. I didn't know what people would think about that. So I stood at our booth at Traffic and Conversion Summit and I had 100 conversations, and I found out. So if you're asking and you're not getting answers, then you're either asking in the wrong place, or you're asking people who, I don't know, it's hard to imagine that you would ask people who are your market and get no response. But I guess if you're doing it on Facebook and social, there's so much noise. I can see how it get lost. So you might have to get out of social and go to more of an interactive. And I know that it's scary. Like, I'm an introvert. I'd rather eat my pinky than talk to 100 strangers. But but I wanted to know the info. I wanted to know what they knew so that we could apply it. So you've got to get out there, get active in maybe not just social, but get active in communities, and groups. Like, you guys have your course creator group. If I were selling to other course creators, I wouldn't be in the Teachable group hawking my stuff. I'd be in there trying to serve and add value, and then asking other people questions. And those Facebook groups exist. They're all over the place. There's forums all over the place, but nothing can replace getting live in the flesh, shaking someone's hand, moving beyond the virtual high five to the real high five, and just asking people those questions. And I'll tell you, it takes a good 50 conversations to really know. You'll think you know after 2 or 3. After 40 or 50, you'll really know.
Yeah, that's a great point. And speaking of virtual high fives and real high fives, Raj just upgraded. Welcome, Raj.
Virtual high five and real high five. And I think that a little bit further up, there was
I feel like
someone
people
who
just upgrade. I say this
upgraded.
every time. People are just upgrading to see us do this. Everyone in the office is looking at us too.
Oh, Dee Dee from Vermont, USA. Virtual high five and real high five. All right, and we're back in the chat. So again, ask us all your questions so we can make sure that you're getting those answered. Okay, so Alan from the UK. Do I need to pre-sell and validate my core offer before introducing the small $7 tripwire product into the journey? So what do you think about that, Ryan? Do you need to have like everything set up first before you start adding like this tripwire, or where does that come in?
I mean, so yeah, most people in my experience are going to start with their core offer, with their main thing. They're gonna begin building the thing that they ultimately want people to buy, and that's okay, because usually when we get started in a market, when we get started in business, there's people around us that know, like, and trust us. And so you could go out to your warm audience. Like let's say, for example, you used to work, maybe you did copywriting at a digital agency, right? You've got a lot of people around you that know that you know your stuff. And so if you were to put out a course and charge hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars for it, you would likely have people who would say, okay, I know this person and I know they're good. And the fact that they put out a course, yeah, I'll buy it, right? And so that's where most people start. And that's actually where I think you should start. You should start with that warm audience, and you can start at the core offer stage with the warm audience. Just like if you get in, again, let's go back to dating and relationships, right? You can skip a lot of the hi, nice to meet you, can I buy you a drink thing if you have a mutual friend that's like, I think you guys are both great people, you should go out, right? You can go like straight to a first date if you have a warm referral. The same is true online. So I think starting there, and starting a little bit higher ticket, even starting with consulting and doing consulting for a while, and then after you've done consulting, now you productize what you were doing for people and you show other people how to do it. That can be a really good way to build a course. So starting at even the top of your ascension ladder and working your way down, and then working your way back through to the convert stage, and yeah, creating an entry point offer, what we've referred to as a tripwire in the past. That you do that to broaden out your funnel, right? You do that to be able to bring more people in. But in the beginning, build a great one, build your core offer, sell to warm audiences that you already know, because that's where you're going to get good feedback, and then begin to splinter off to create. If you try to create the front ends first, you don't necessarily know where people are going. You could lead them in a weird direction. So start with the core offer, then splinter off into the entry points.
That's brilliant.
All right, so it's 3:52. We're actually getting close to the end. We do tend to end these just about 4. So please ask your questions. We'll make sure that we can get answered before we have to head this off in just a few minutes. So from Dee Dee asking about our webinar app. So the video comes from YouTube Live, Dee Dee, but the whole back end, the registration pages, the play pages, the chat, the thing that we built that automatically like downloads and then uploads the replay and shows it to you, all that is built by Teachable, okay? So it's something that we have gotten lots and lots of requests for, but it was built really primarily for us to use. So we'd have to kind of rethink it to see if it would be usable by other folks. Dee Dee also curious what mics you're using. We are using a Blue Yeti. This is a Blue Yeti mic right here. Ryan, what type of mic do you use?
I don't know. I have a Blue Yeti. We have a recording studio that has some fancy pants mic that was incredibly expensive, but works about as well as a Blue Yeti. Mm-hmm. Nerdy audio people, gotta love them. Yeah. They're great at spending money. Right now, I'm using the built-in mic in my MacBook Pro, so I apologize for that. I got shut out of my own recording studio.
Not bad.
So,
Karen has asked to join the Facebook group. Karen, our social media team will make sure that you get added ASAP. Okay.
By the way, I think that's a good point. I know I don't want to like switch back into teaching mode, but I know I get a lot of people thinking that they need all this fancy pants equipment to produce a really good course. You don't. You don't. I've made millions of dollars just opening up my laptop and talking into stuff using the built-in microphones, just for what it's worth. People care way more about the content than they do the quality. And there's actually a danger of overproducing your courses, making it look too much like TV. Because how much is TV? Think about what you pay for a Netflix membership. Right? If you make it look too much like TV, if you get too fancy pants with it, guys, it's people aren't going to understand why it feels off, but it will feel off. Going into, I'm not saying you should do like boba, low quality, low budget stuff just for the sake of it. But if you try to make it look too much like TV, the value proposition is going to be way off.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. We actually have someone, they did a 7-figure launch and they filmed the entire thing on their iPhone. So yeah, it's like people care more about content than how pretty your videos are.
Exactly.
Yep.
Ed, will you be able to watch today's workshop again? Ed, you'll be getting replay automatically. That'll be available for a limited time. You'll get access to all the replays for an unlimited time if you join us on an annual plan.
And Patricia is wondering, Ryan, what did you use to create the slides for your presentation?
Keynote.
Yeah.
And a tremendous amount of OCD, because I'm very OCD with my slides. So.
And so probably just take like one or two more questions. So Jay, if I've signed with Teachable, can I use your webinar feature? Jay, we'd love to roll that out. Right now, you can do very similar webinars to this just by embedding YouTube live streams. But we are looking for ways to make this more available in the product. Oh, this is actually a really good one. Douglas says, I get 50 signups for my ebook per day. What stages do I need to add these subscribers to my $297 Teachable class? So Ryan, what kind of advice do you give to Douglas, who has like a good amount of people going to his ebook every day as this great lead magnet, and then like what to do with them?
Yeah, I mean, so if you go from a free ebook to a $297 class, you're basically skipping the convert stage, and there's probably not, because it's an ebook, they're not consuming it, so they're not getting excited. All right, so you're skipping straight from subscribe to really the ascend, and maybe even kind of the second rung on the ascend ladder. So what I think you need, I would go back to that 297 course, and like, what is the most interesting part, the coolest part of that course that also relates to your lead magnet? So now when somebody opts in for the lead magnet, you can then offer them that other course, and then you can let them know that, hey, this maybe it's a module, just a little piece of it, but to let them know, you know, I want to, this one piece that you have right here is actually a part of a comprehensive system. And while this is great, if you have the whole system, you're going to be able to really get where you want to go. So show them how that ultimately you want it to be to where the final purchase is a continuation of a process that they have already begun. And they began the process when they requested your lead magnet. So this whole pesky thing was their idea, right? So they come to your site, they request the lead magnet. Now, but to say now that you got the lead magnet, sign up for the 297 course, not quite ready for it. So you gotta have a couple of options. You can either go from the lead magnet to saying, oh, if you love this lead magnet, you should sign up for a live training that I'm doing, get them to register for a webinar, sell the $297 course on the webinar, but offer the webinar registration on the thank you page of the lead magnet. That's one way. And another way is, like I said, to splinter off a chunk of value, a piece of value from the course, sell that standalone, sell that a la carte, and then upsell the complete course. That's what I would do.
All right, and it is just about time to wrap this up. So let's take one last look. Okay.
Alan says, thanks, Ryan. You've shared some real gold today. Super stoked. Yeah, this has been awesome. Yeah. I wish I could take notes while you're going through them.
And I think that I think it's about time to wrap this up. And I'd like to end with some thank yous. And the first thing that we should do is, if everyone should just type in chat, like, thank you, Ryan. And I'm going to just say this out loud. Thank you, Ryan, because this has been so amazing, so helpful, and just like so information packed. So just let Ryan know how much this meant to them. Just type in chat, like, you're the best, Ryan, or thank you, Ryan, because this has been incredibly valuable information.
I'm going to take screenshots and send them to my mom. She still thinks I sell drugs.
Ryan, you're doing good things, man. Now, outside of thanking Ryan, I think the people we need to think above all are you. Because the audience right now, because at the end of the day, without you, this summit would be just a bunch of talking heads speaking into an empty room. And there are lots and lots of people out there who are interested in the idea of online courses, right? They think that it might be something cool. They might think it might be something that they want to do. but there aren't that many people who will actually do something to come and learn more. They're not actually going to take the time out of their day to expand their knowledge. And you guys did. So on behalf of myself
and Jess,
everyone else here at Teachable HQ, and probably from Ryan too.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time today, everyone. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
See you guys. And we'll see you at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight.
6 p.m. Eastern tonight.